It was a bright morning in Central Park, New York City. Autumn leaves painted the ground in golden hues, and the sound of children laughing filled the cool air. Amidst the crowd, Michael Carter, a single dad and a retired Army veteran, sat quietly on a wooden bench. His little son, Ethan, was running around chasing pigeons, his laughter echoing like music that softened Michael's heavy heart. Ever since his wife passed away from cancer, Michael's life had been a journey of silent battles. He had faced war, loss, and loneliness, but none of those compared to raising his son alone. He worked long hours as a truck driver, his evenings spent in solitude, and his mornings filled with memories of a family that once felt complete. As he watched the city's beauty unfold, his attention was caught by a small girl sitting under a tree. Her pale face was hidden beneath a faded pink cap. She was sketching with trembling hands, drawing butterflies and flowers on a worn-out notebook. Her mother, wearing a nurse's uniform, sat beside her with a lunch box half full of bread slices. Michael smiled softly and approached them. "Beautiful drawing," he said gently. The girl looked up with a shy grin. "Thank you, sir. I love colors, but sometimes they make me sad, because I can't see them clearly anymore." Michael's smile faded. "What do you mean?" her mother whispered, her eyes red with sleepless nights. "She's fighting leukemia. We come here every Sunday. It makes her forget the hospital smell." A quiet ache pierced Michael's chest. He saw his own wife's reflection in that mother's eyes, the same exhaustion, the same silent plea for help. He didn't have much, but something in his soul told him he couldn't just walk away. As buses roared down Fifth Avenue, and the sound of horns filled the street, Michael promised himself he would do something. Even if it cost him everything. Days turned into weeks. Michael kept visiting the park every Sunday. The girl's name was Lily, and her mother was Sandra Evans. He would bring Ethan along, and soon the three of them began sharing laughter, ice cream, and little stories beneath the tall green trees of the park. One day, Lily was too weak to draw. She coughed as Sandra whispered, "The hospital says her treatment needs another $40,000. We can't afford it." Michael's heart broke. He knew the cost of survival. He had fought wars, but he had never fought poverty like this. He went home that night and looked at his small apartment, his savings account, and the medals he'd earned for bravery. None of them could save a life. But kindness could. He began driving his truck double shifts. He delivered goods across the busy highways, from Chicago to Dallas, from Denver to Atlanta. Through rain, fog, and sleepless nights, he carried not just boxes, but a hope to help Lily live. Traffic roared along Route 66. Heavy vehicles honked through the night. His hands blistered from holding the wheel for hours, yet every mile felt worth it. At gas stations, he'd call Ethan to say, "Daddy's working for someone special." Ethan always replied softly, "For the girl who loves butterflies." "Yes, son," he'd whisper. "For her." Months later, Michael managed to save nearly everything he had. He sold his old car and used his veteran pension early. Without telling Sandra, he went straight to St. Mary's Children's Hospital and cleared Lily's pending bill. When Sandra came to pay, the nurse said, "Ma'am, someone already did." Tears fell down her cheeks. She ran outside and saw Michael standing near the parking lot, his jacket soaked in rain. It was you," she cried. He nodded quietly. Sometimes, being rich doesn't mean having money. It means having a heart. The city lights blurred behind her tears, and the sound of passing buses echoed like distant applause. The act of kindness had turned a veteran into a true hero, not of war, but of humanity. Winter arrived. Snow blanketed the streets of New York. Christmas lights glowed across buildings, and laughter filled the neighborhoods. Michael and Ethan were walking through the park again, holding 2 cups of hot chocolate, when they heard someone call out, "Mr. Carter." It was Lily. She was running, her hair now thicker, her cheeks bright with life. Behind her, Sandra waved with joy. Lily jumped into Michael's arms. "Doctor says I'm better. I can go to school again." Michael's eyes filled with tears. He looked up at the sky and whispered, "Thank you." Sandra placed a small box in his hands. Inside was a drawing Lily's new painting showing a soldier holding hands with a little girl under a rainbow. On the bottom, she had written, "To the man who gave me back my colors." Months later, the story of Michael's kindness spread across local news. A millionaire who watched the report offered to help veterans like him, funding a charity in Michael's name, the Hope Wheels Foundation. Michael never asked for fame, but his single act of love changed countless lives. He continued to work, smile, and live with a heart full of peace, knowing that kindness always returns, sometimes in ways we least expect. The park remained the same, full of life, laughter, and hope. The buses still passed by, people hurried to work, and yet, in one small corner, a veteran and a once sick girl had written a story that would never fade. Dear viewers, if this story touched your heart, please take a moment to comment below. Tell us key so together we can spread hope, healing, and humanity around the world. Because sometimes, the smallest act of kindness becomes the greatest story ever told.